Suzuka International Racing Course is up next. We're coming off a win for Pierre Gasly to push us back up into P2 of the constructors. Love to see it. But we'll actually go ahead and jump straight into race prep because there's really not a whole lot that we're really looking at here. We'll do 2 into the top 12 just because I don't know how Suzuka is going to handle us. And then qualifying streak is good to go. I think that is a pretty solid opportunity. We'll go ahead and do that. I mean, I guess we'll go ahead and make sure no one... Deo has the dev point. Braking. Deo's a 77 overall. Cool. Staff, anyone? Head of Arrow has one. We're going to go ahead and use that on low speed downforce because our low speed stuff is pretty appalling, if we do say so ourselves. Chris Cronin also has one. We'll throw that into feedback. He's up to an 83 overall. We are pushing. I'm actually curious what our pit crew's at. We're on 74 of tire changes now. I'm actually going to throw that into front and rear jacks now because I think that also is a pretty big part to pit stop time. But for now, there's really nothing else going on. Let's go to the Japanese Race Grand Prix very quick. Let's get this thing going. All right, first laps. Thank you, Joe, for coming out immediately when we're about to cross the start finish line. Thank you for getting out of the way. Ocon Norris, also thank you so much as Pierre is starting his lap. Of course, we catch Ocon literally at the line. Pierre does still go 4/10 faster than Mick. We'll see where Pierre's time stacks up compared to everyone else. Mick, I'm tempted to send Mick out again, actually. Pierre's time, I think, will hold up pretty well. I don't think we need to worry about Pierre again. Of course, we'll get that answer when the Red Bulls start going. Although Verstappen did encounter a lot of traffic from us, so there is that. Mick is going to get a tow from Alonso, which is lovely. Gets by Verstappen cleanly, which means Mick should get a pretty clean lap. Improves a little bit. Mick up into P5. Love to see it. I think Mick is going to be a-okay. Honestly, I think both of our drivers are through to Q2 here. I'll be leaving them alone from here on out. Sainz with an abysmal lap. It looks like 1.5, 1.6 off. Likely, I mean, that's traffic almost guaranteed, but all in all, wow, the Mercedes came to play here in Suzuka, topping the board so far with us about 1.6 tenths back. Both of our drivers are staying in. I think this is pretty much a formality for Q1 right now. Not worried about it in the slightest. A yellow flag in sector 1. Who done it? So no, Yuki is having an absolute nightmare. Let's see. Perez goes fastest. Verstappen making his way through the through the final chicane. Verstappen goes fastest on our first runs, about 3/10 off of Verstappen. Sounds about right. All right, they're good. It's fine. Whew. Really touch and go there for a second, but we are a-okay. We'll hop on board with Mick as we make our way through our final laps here of Q2. I'm not super worried. Leclerc will jump us as he comes across the line. Looks like he timed it actually pretty well to get the maximum clean air. So Leclerc through. Honestly, Pierre is probably fine, but we want to see what we can do here. Anyway, Mick does not improve sector 1. It's not what we want to see here, Mick. We want to see multiples. We want to get into Q3 again here, Mick. That would be absolutely lovely, but it is looking less and less likely. If he's not improving on a very, very used tire run, then that is less good than we'd hoped. Mick will cross the line into Q3. We weren't worried. You weren't worried. I wasn't worried at all. through 2 cars. Q3, here we come. All right, let's get it, Mick. We will be hopping on board with Pierre like normal, but Mick should have about as clean a lap as you can get here. But we'll hop on board with the Frenchman. Pierre Gasly is making proofs first sector. Love to see it. Open up that DRS, Pierre, and let's get this last lap of qualifying underway. I would say though, if it was this dark, horrific, terrible news. Russell out. Russell's back up to his old tricks. Russell's up to his old tricks, crashing in qualifying to secure the best possible qualifying for himself. Willing to put his car and his team's money on the line.
Thank goodness.
Horrific. These tactics need to be looked at. Mick currently sitting P8. Likely will be starting P10 if I had to guess. The Ferrari likely will be going faster. Pierre does improve on his first 2 sectors. How far can he put it up the position? Making his way across the line. He ties George Russell, but he loses out on the 100,000th or whatever the 4th digit is, probably. So close. You know, I'm so convinced that Russell crashed on purpose. Wow. Wait a second. I have a confusion. Whatever. The game is trying to hold us back. We've won too many races this season. They recognize the Haas dominance. It says it is going to rain. Is it going to rain a lot, or is it going to rain a little? Is the important question here. This is probably just gonna have to be a play it by ear kind of race. I mean, we're gonna have to see what's the actually, we can actually toast these tires a little bit. We're gonna have to see what's the rain looks like if it's gonna be wet or if it's gonna be inters, or like what this looks like. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, there's no point in thinking about it too much, but we will go ahead and get started here. I mean, we can toast these tires, but to race day, here we go.
The drivers are warmed up. They're ready to go here at the
Japanese Grand Prix incoming.
And it's lights out
and away we go. We'll hop on board here with Pierre. Gonna get the outside line around Russell George, who ruined our qualifying for himself. Up we go. Mick up into P9 past the Ferrari. Love to see it, Mick. Woo, Pierre, around the outside. Whoa, around the outside. Pierre, the absolute Chad. Mick also around the outside of Kevin Magnussen.
Haas with an overtake.
All right, it's gonna be dry for at least 10 minutes. I'm gonna lower these down to just aggressive. Everyone on softs. Love, that's fun to see. Everyone on the same tire. Woo, Mick thinking about it. Whoa. Thought about sending one up the inside of Fernando Alonso. Would have been fun. DRS enabled. Says it's still gonna be dry. Something to keep an eye on. But what we do know as of right now, Pierre Gasly leading the Japanese Grand Prix once again. Absolutely flying. Actually, if we can break DRS to Verstappen here, that would be the best thing for us, I would say. Beautiful. Mick, still just hanging out. Couldn't tell if Alonso had DRS right there. We did lower the tires just because we do need them to last at least until lap 10 or whatever we're waiting for. Still says dry on this. I guess we really need to be looking more towards like lap 14 rather than lap 10. Sector 2, yellow flag. Who done it?
I think someone's
Ricardo running wide. I guess that makes sense. He is now down here in the mud. In the bin. Get in the bin, Ricardo. Get in the bin, Daniel. So, I mean, honestly, at this point, there's not really a whole lot going on. So we will wait and see what happens from here. Mick is stuck in a DRS train, and Pierre looks like he's doing just enough to hold off Max Verstappen from getting in DRS range and causing any big issues. Let's see. Yeah, not a whole lot really to talk about here. We're also gonna so we ran into this issue in Spa where we pitted for inters or wets too early, and that caused us massive pain because we got caught in traffic. So this may be an opportunity here to sacrifice overall timing for the sake of staying with and in front of everyone else kind of things. It is going to be damp in 6 minutes. Something to keep an eye on. As we continue on. Pit window has been entered. Again, not that that pit window is actually in 4 minutes. Yellow flags. Crash. No safety car, please. No safety car, please.
There's been a crash.
Magnussen. Kevin in the mud. It says wet weather or damp weather, because this says damp. Kevin is the real loser here because he's gonna box for repairs and new tires, and it's about to rain. I mean, keep going. We're waiting. It says, there it is. There it is. We have enough of a gap to double stack. How wet is it gonna get though? I mean, it looks like inters. Oh, we had to use a set of inters. Pain. Box. Wet weather predicted. In the box. Verstappen also pits. Who's gonna make the mistake and not pits? Perez. They're putting Perez in the mud. 2.7 out. Out ahead of Verstappen as well. Love to see it. Where is Mick? Mick in the box for 4 seconds. Ugh. In the mud for Mick. Oh, what a horrific stop for Mick. 37 seconds in the lane. We are in fact flying. Please just drive around them, Pierre. Please just drive around them, Pierre. Pierre, 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 Pierre. Drive around them, Pierre. Pierre, drive around them. Thank you.
Haas with an overtake there.
Mick, you're not being serious, right? Mick, we're not being serious, right? Oh my god, Mick. Oh my god, Mick. We're not being serious, right? They just drove behind Stroll for God knows how long. Some people on full wets.
We've just had a car run wide.
I don't think it's gonna get to full wets. I hope it doesn't get to full wets. Basically is what I'm actually saying. It might dip into full wets, but we're just gonna have to ride that one out. A rainy day in Japan awaits us. For right now, things are looking pretty good. We need to hop on board with Mick because he will be catching up to Lando soon. Likely. I mean, he is 4 seconds behind, but I mean, Lando should be losing an enormous amount of time with having those full wets on. Seb, spinning. Man, they have not done Seb right. They've done Seb pretty dirty these last few races, not gonna lie. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you ever did... That was English, I promise. You ever just drink water? Stuff's great. Norris in the pits. Good to know that they finally came to their senses and they made the wrong call on the wet tires. All right, we now have all intermediates ahead. Lewis is behind us, but without DRS, that is what it is. So we're back to Speedy Gonzalez here. Ricardo doing in the pits. It is just gonna slowly dry off until it rains again. But as of right now, we are entirely just chilling. Verstappen has cut into Pierre's lead a little bit, but that's okay because we have enough of a gap here to withstand. I would hope, although he is cutting in tenths per lap. See if we can push fuel a little bit and see if we can hold or extend this gap a little bit where we can. Use it tactically. But this does look to be one of the instances in which Verstappen is just faster than us. Just unfortunate to say, but I mean, even on push fuel on 2 laps, we were only able to extend it back up a couple of tenths. Mick, hanging out in P6, was able to put a sizable gap behind to Hamilton. Not really do much in the way of catching up to Alonso. He's doing pretty good. We will put him down to standard though. We don't want to run his fuel too low. We are dipping dangerously close to hitting dry conditions again, in which we'll get to see if the AI are dummies. All right. Oh, the rain came right before. I was about to say, all right, here we go. We're gonna have to dip down and put it on conserve, but thankfully we do not have to do that because it started raining it is gonna dip into wet briefly. We're gonna wait and see if anyone takes the bait and boxes for full wets. Are we talking like safety car kind of crash? Magnussen in the bin.
There's been contact and several cars involved.
In the bin.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo in
Kevin.
this one.
Oh yeah. Hate to see that. Who was it? Was it Stroll? Wasn't Lewis, so yeah, it had to have been Stroll. Are we gonna see any boxers for full wets here? See, so far no takers on the boxing for full wets. I think they understand that it's not going to last for forever. Oh, Joe! No, Joe, don't do it. Oh, looks like Kevin also did. Oh, they're gonna do you dirty, Joe. Don't let them do this to you. In the pit for forever. Does he have damage? Alright, there it is. I'm so sorry, Joe. They did you pretty dirty there, my guy. They did you pretty dirty. Honestly, we are vibing right now. We are in the pit window technically for both, but we're gonna have to wait and see what this looks like going forward here. Again, not a whole lot really going on. Verstappen still is cutting into Pierre's lead, but I think that's kind of inevitable at this point. We can't focus on it too much. Can't push fuel to try and, you know, extend it and make it as hard for him as we can. We do have that buffer with Pierre. It does tick back below. It looks like it might tick back to wets for the last couple of laps, but I don't think anyone's going to be boxing at that point. We're going to extend by a couple of laps here with Pierre if we can. But now that it is back to standard inters, we will dip it back below towards just the standard tire aggression, and we continue on. We'll wait, we'll keep an eye on Max here, and if he gets by, we'll hop on board and see if we can do something about it. But for right now, it's really hard to pass in the wet, and I think it's going to be, oh, he says as he immediately gets past. Oh, now, oh.
Red Bull moved up.
Oh, now there's back markers. Oh, you're going to ruin this for me. On the outside? You wanted it. All right, we're gonna extend by. We're gonna basically just box opposite Verstappen next lap. Or we'll see. We'll see. We're basically just gonna, once the Verstappen boxes, we'll box the next lap. How about that? That'll be the plan. We do have the tire delta to withstand this. Although Max is very fast in a straight line, so maybe the undercut might be the move. All right, at the end of the next lap, we box. His tires are, yeah, his tires are on 51%, so he might be going for a little longer. We do have a pretty sizable gap behind that we can try and slot into. All right, Pierre, box next lap for fresh inters. Mick. It's 30 seconds. That's a long time. Mick is lapping slower than the cars in front of him, but faster than the cars behind him. I want to see what lap he puts in this lap, and then go from there. Here in the pits. All right, Mick, what do we got? 136.6. So we're still lapping just as fast. So we could keep going. I like the decision with Pierre. I do. I like the decision with Pierre because now he's still within a pit stop of Verstappen, and Verstappen, in theory, with the fresher tires, Pierre should be faster than them. I would hope. He does want. I mean, he runs on 137 fresh tires. We'll see what lap time he does, or 154. We'll see what lap time he does this lap. Mick 135.9. All of a sudden running pretty good still. I mean, it's going to be the rest of the way. Ocon finally pits. It looks like the rest of the AI are probably going to start pitting soon. So Mick, actually,
Car in the wall.
car on the wall. A savior for Mick.
Single yellow.
Single yellow.
Copy.
Russell
Let's
in
see
the
what
bin.
happened there.
Mercedes
Now,
in the
just
bin.
watch the Mercedes here.
Can't handle the pressure, eh? Oh, same spot. That's convenient.
That crash is
Oh,
terrible
how
news the
convenient
team.
for you, Russell George. How very convenient, even. Oh, so very convenient that you crash in the same place again. Back on board here with Pierre Gasly, who has now made up plenty of time to the leader here, running 0.5 a lap faster than Verstappen right now. I think we are in pretty good shape, to say the least. It looks like this is Verstappen. Holy, he is up there. Actually, let's go ahead and close that gap, Pierre. Try and close that gap. Is Verstappen box? No, Verstappen is not box. Their tires have got to be very low. They're 40% now. Sainz at 38%. Another one. Who done it this time?
We've just had a crash on
Yeah, I was gonna say Lando.
Let's take a closer look. Watch this. We're looking at Lando Norris.
Uh-oh. Oof.
Dear
In the
me,
bin.
They won't...
Bin. That's a British looking bin, Norris. Still running tenths a lap quicker than Verstappen right now. Although there is still a major gap ahead. But once they box, I think that'll be, I mean, that'll be it. I mean, they have to box again. Like, there's no way they don't. Like, these inters are not making it to the end unless they go, like, maximum conserve. Yeah, okay, there it is. Verstappen in the pits. Moment of truth, Pierre. Moment of truth. Nice. Come out with a 4-second gap and 13 laps remaining. Who else does not pit in front of Mick? Everybody between Verstappen and Russell. So Mick could be looking at a pretty good finish here. Verstappen has already closed up. How much? Oh, that's me on signs. Never mind. I thought we were leading. I was looking at my gap to Carlos and not my gap to Max. Oh, we actually slotted by that back marker beautifully. All right, I think this is looking like a pretty safe podium for sure for Pierre. The win is on the table, but we're gonna have to play our cards right for sure. We have caught up to Sainz, who likely is boxing this lap if I had to guess, because his tires were already worse than Max's. So he probably is coming in. No, he does not. Well, thank you very much, Carlos. All right, now if you could hold up Max, that would be lovely. All right, Hamilton and Perez pits. This is important for mixed race. He will move up into P6 by the looks of it. Everyone else except for Sainz has boxed. And Mick, it's tight. It's going to be tight. He might be fighting a Ferrari at the end if he can continue putting in some decent laps when Carlos boxes. Dude, Yuki has not had a good season at Williams. He has not had a good season, and we feel for him. But boy, is he's been struggling. Signs, boxes. Verstappen, 10 laps remaining, 3.5 second gap. What can we do here? Signs in the box, already looks like he's on his way out. So I think that pit lane lost time is a little over dramatic. It's safe to say. But Mick has a 10, almost 11 second gap behind to Valtteri Bottas, and about a 3.5 second gap ahead to Fernando Alonso. We will leave him be, and we will hop back on board here with Pierre. We can actually go ahead and speed it up a little bit, because at this point it's just going to be pure pace on pure pace, and there's not really a whole lot we're going to be able to really do about it, because we don't really have the fuel delta to push anymore.
The brakes are really poor.
Copy.
It's a crash.
This is why we can't have nice things. So frustrating, man. It just is. It's so frustrating. Like, we had a win and a pretty much guaranteed podium until that moment. I know our car's brakes are rough, but like, come on, man. All you got to do is just pull it home. Just bring it home. Look at this gap between Verstappen and Sainz, by the way. Verstappen's through turn 2, and Carlos is just, he's through the S's, and Carlos passes the start finish straight. And now Pierre has chassis damage. Just no, there's absolutely no way. What lap times will we running this lap? 34.9 and 34.3. I mean, 34.3 is running faster than Verstappen, but we only have 4 laps left, so there is that. Also, I am not team ordering this. Pierre earned this himself, and Mick is free to fight for the points that he earned and deserves. If this goes into wets and they box, I'm gonna laugh. 7. Is it not? Is it really not going to tick into wet? Oh, that's funny. Okay, there it goes. I was gonna say. I was wondering if it was going to taking to wet at all. All right, Pierre got around him fair and square. This is still going to be a great double points finish for the team, but at the same time, this is probably one of the most frustrating ones. It's one of the more frustrating ones we've had this season. We've had a very, 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 very successful season, but at the same time, we cannot be having results like this when we have surefire like wins and podiums, and we're just throwing it away. Thank you for telling me the guy we were leading not but a handful of laps ago won.
Max Verstappen over the finish line and today's winner. That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
P5, P6. Good job, Mick. Mick, that was a bang in drive.
Checkered flag.
Great drive, Mick.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Here, stop talking.
Take the pickup.
Okay, so that's checkered flag.
Let's go, Mick.
The car was great. Thank you.
Let's go, Mick. Huge
Brilliant.
finish. Mick,
Brilliant.
Take
for
all the
some
pickup
reason
away.
in Suzuka, he thrives here. I don't know what it is.
Copy that. Just take all the pickup.
What a day for Mick. Pierre bottling
A brilliant
a win.
performance from the Haas driver.
Bottling a win. He finishes down 2 spots. Mick finishes up 3 spots in P6. Pierre does get fastest lap. Well, the driver's race was pretty much over at this point, so I don't think there was a whole lot we really could have done about it, but it'd be what it'd be. We're a little upset at Pierre right now, but honestly, he's done well for us all season. It's just very, very, very frustrating when he does this, and I wish he would stop. Otherwise, we continue marching forward. We're going to round out the season on a high, I'm sure. But for now, we head to the next one.